A big fat Monday bro fist to all of you lovely bastards. Welcome back to Grand Prix World. I hope all of you are smashing and super and awesome. Uh, I know I am, even though I've just eaten a salad. But let's not focus on depressing stuff. Let's focus on good stuff. Good stuff like the end of the season. We are about to wrap up the 2005 season in our Arrows Let's Play. Falling a little bit behind schedule with the release of Motorsport Manager kind of taking over the channel for a full week. That will still be coming out this week as well. We're going to press through with that. Minardi, we will be returning to Minardi this Wednesday for our usual Grand Prix World session, but the here and now is all about Arrows. I now think it's probably unlikely that we'll finish the Arrows playthrough before Christmas, but maybe by New Year we should have wrapped this up completely. Exciting times indeed. As it stands, we are definitely emperors amongst peasants in the Formula One world. We are burning through our cash, but that was our intention. The idea being that we want to sort of hard bake in the advantage that we've opened out to make sure it's no longer even remotely concerning to us that maybe we'll fall off the boil. Pedro Diniz on course for his second World Championship, which will mean he and Giancarlo Fisichella are 2 apiece, which is a pretty successful stint for both concerned, I think. Carl Eisen's leaving the team at the end of this season to be replaced by an American that we found. Nothing else particularly interesting except the fact that our construction chief is only level 3 and probably needs replacing, especially now Fisichella's on the way out. We don't really need to worry about him so much. On the design front, we could be doing better, but nothing really to panic about. Let us see where we're at. So we have constructed a new automatic gearbox. Is it legal though? 'Tis not. 'Tis not legal. We're doing no more development work on this year's car. There was absolutely no point in doing so. We probably couldn't even have squeezed it out, to be honest. We could do some reliability work, I suppose, on our electronics. That wouldn't necessarily be a terrible idea. I think 30% should be enough for that. And we will try again on the driver aids, this time for servo brakes, see if we can't get everything to level 4 by the end of the season. It's probably unlikely, but it's worth a shot. Our test program has concluded, of course, and we are but 2 rounds away from having completed a top level world class engineering maximum security facility of awesome, and from this moon base we will be conducting our final 3 campaigns. Reasonable levels of wear on the cars. I mean, it seems that as we've got better at building our machines, they also tend to hold up a lot better over the course of a race, which you kind of would expect, I suppose, in stark contrast to both the Minardi playthrough and our experience in Motorsport Manager so far. A game that I'm still not getting my head round, although everyone's been super helpful with lots of tips and advice and stuff. It seems I do a lot better when I'm not recording it than when I do, but of course, you know, I would say that. We have some advantage cards to play, and I'm not sure how to dish them out. We've got maximum bonus shoed on our new team sponsorship deal, on our engine deal, and on the tyre deal. I mean, we could use it to get some guarantees, I suppose, but I mean, is it really necessary? Do we have any sponsor slots remaining? I think we don't. We do not. Alright, so it looks like MasterCard win this particular party, and in terms of obtaining a guarantee, I guess Castrol are the ones that we really should prefer, given that the sum they're guaranteeing is higher, so why don't we do that. Not going to make any investments, no point. We've managed to sign our first 2 commercial licensing deals, so we are getting extra money per Grand Prix from a commission on fan club membership and on branded clothing. Who doesn't want Pedro Diniz 2-time world champion Arrows t-shirt? I know I do. let us run some light testing to get settle points. So I shouldn't really have repaired those cars, but you know, it doesn't really matter to us at this point. And we shall proceed to Luxembourg. I'm going to blast through this episode to round out the season, and then on Wednesday, when I'm done with the Minardi episode, I will do the usual pre-season preamble ramble, and we will take a closer look at who's running what and driven by whom. Exciting times ahead. I'm very keen to see actually how Wurtz and Deniz line up against each other, given that they're very, very evenly matched, statistically speaking. In terms of how their attribute points are distributed, even more so than Deniz and Fisichella. You'd think, given how well positioned within the team he is, Deniz would actually wipe the floor with Wurtz in the first season of that partnership, because the car should really have been developed for him, but we saw with Fisichella that wasn't really the case actually, and Fisichella was dominant from the off. It's just been the last season and this one where he's gone off the boil. Right then, to Luxembourg, dear friends. 19 degrees, very strong rain for qualifying. I forget, but I think that's good for us. It's also good for Schumacher. Yeah, pole positions continue to elude us. Eddie Irvine taking pole in his Williams on a 132.304, ahead of Pedro Diniz in his Arrows 132.571. His future teammate Alexander Wurtz takes third for Ferrari on a 132.710, the highest place of the Bridgestone runners. Fisico lines up fourth on a 133.248, and the top five rounded out by David Coulthard and a surprisingly lackluster Michael Schumacher. Normally, anything damp on the track, someone drops a fish, you know, too much tomato sauce on your fries and it falls on the track, then suddenly he goes faster. But it seems in this case Eddie Irvine's got his number. That's my only concern now, really, that for future I want to stop missing out on the pole positions. I've always said prioritise race performance, and I stand by that, because of course you don't get any points for qualifying well, but I sort of feel like we're the total package. Deniz is the total package. His hair is the total package. That hair should be on pole position, and we should be getting credit for that. 3-degree temperature drop for the race. Heavy rain continues with a slack wind. I'm going to two-stop both drivers actually, because I'm not entirely sure that the heavy rain's going to pass. It might be a foolish mistake, but Deniz has already got the championship in the bag. We've got the constructors in the bag, so why not experiment a little? We will run them as light as possible, though. Let's dance. Ooh, ooh! Alexander Wurtz takes the win for Ferrari, 147.52565. That's a pretty hefty lead, actually, of almost 10 seconds to Pedro Diniz's Arrows in second. Eddie Irvine rounding out your podium for Williams. The final points paying positions go to the McLaren of Mika Hakkinen, the Williams of Michael Schumacher, and David Coulthard's McLaren, who finished one lap down. Fisichella made another driver error. He's really not helping himself, to be honest. He's not marketing his skills to his new team Ferrari. Nevertheless, it's of no concern to us, because by Christ, if we haven't gone and won it. Pedro Diniz sits atop the Drivers' Championship on 95 points. Teammate Giancarlo Fisichella is second. Future Arrows driver Alexander Wurtz is third, a mere 4 points behind Fisichella for no justifiable reason. And in the Constructors, yeah. Just yeah, really. Let's see if we manage to tie out those final sponsors. Well, we got our guarantee from Castrol. No guarantee from MasterCard, but we did get the maximum number of bonuses. No guarantee yet from Danker, but you know, it's coming along. It is coming along. Final race of the season, we'll keep it to the key sponsors, keep them happy. why the devil not? Let's do a cheeky little bit of testing. Kaboom. Now, something that we need to talk about actually is what we could be doing with these extra dudes. Because now, obviously, what we've got is a situation where we've got a lot of extra personnel available. And you might be wondering, well, what are we supposed to do at this point? You know, there's 30% of our guys on the Castrol deal, but we've got the maximum amount of benefit from having them assigned there. The only thing I could really suggest at this point, because it's too late in the season to attempt to sign anything. We've got no room for sponsors. We couldn't sign a new merchandising deal. So why not throw a big end of season party? Show all your staff on making it a top quality experience. You know, give everyone 10 wine slaves. I was trying to put myself in you know, the position of the sponsors there and thinking what would I like, but I don't think that's safe to broadcast. Yeah, Danko we still need to sign, and MasterCard we still need to sign. Not that they're going to actually sign, but you know, what's life without whimsy? Testing, we have a run. Fortune points to spend, but let's nip over to the design office first. No, completely nothing. Right, sod it. We're going to try for level 5 active suspension because there's literally no reason not to. We're already paying the staff. I'm going to put some guys on that as well. Let's install the improved technology. I'm not going to bother building any more spare parts. It's just cash. It's just cash down the drain, to be honest. We don't need to do it. Got some repairs to make though on car 1 thanks to Fisichella's dangerous incompetence. I don't know if it's necessarily down to the fact he's just not that good in the wet, but I know the car is good in the wet, and I know that the engine is good, and I know that the tyres are good in the wet, so I you know, I can't really give him a pass. I might replenish our stocks actually, why not? So once we hit the track in Japan, that should enable us, whatever the result, to confirm our continued domination of the Formula 1 World Championships. We've just been renting a wind tunnel for fun. Why not? Just for a laugh. Right, everyone's repaired. All the sponsor stuff is done. We could hire more staff, but there's really no need at this stage. I'll complain about McLaren's servo brakes. I'm going to turn Fisichella's aggressiveness up to make sure we give a better display for the laps he actually bothers to finish. I'm not going to prioritise Deniz, even though you would think it's the smart thing to do. I'm going to give them an even setup, and we're going to let them race. Nothing to lose, even if they knock each other off. It's no skin off our nose, to be frank. Usually as well, Fisichella will have the better pit strategy, so it really does come down to who's linking it up. That soundtrack hasn't aged well. 18 degrees and cloudy with a strong wind for quali. Let's see if we can't get an elusive pole position. Probably not. Called it. Alexander Wurz, our future driver in waiting, takes pole position for Ferrari on a 137.054. Fisichella lines up second, 137.217, and Johnny Newhouse puts his Minardi of all things on the second row, third position for him. Sorry, my cold's coming back, one moment. I just coughed like a field marshal. David Coulthard's McLaren takes 4th, and the Williams of Schumacher and Irvine, in that order, take 5th and 6th. Pedro Diniz has a shocking qualifying session, finishing all the way down in 11th, which tells me the hard tyre is the one for winners, but it's too late now. Prost continue to be a disappointment to all their mothers. 25 degrees, strong rain, very strong wind. That makes for exciting conditions and a good fight back in the wet. We're going to put Deniz on an aggressive one-stop strategy. And you might be thinking, Benji Mac, why? Well, because there's absolutely no reason not to. He's already champion, he's got nothing to fear from no man or beast, and he's got a lot of making up to do. So let's give him a chance, huh? Ooh. Michael Schumacher pips Pedro Diniz to second position. I really did think we'd get at least second there, because we know Wirtz is strong in the wet and the Ferrari seems to be on song at the moment, but it wasn't to be. Alexander Wirtz takes the win for Ferrari, 141.07577, clinching second in the Drivers' Championship at the final moment. Michael Schumacher takes second for Williams, and Pedro Diniz rounds out the podium for Arrows. Mika Hakkinen takes fourth for McLaren, Eddie Irvine fifth for Williams, and the final point of the final race of the year goes to David Coulthard's McLaren. Mika Salo just outside the points in his Sauber, good job indeed, and an unknown error. I think I've got a suspicion what it might be. Took Giancarlo Fisichella out of the last Grand Prix of the season. In the Drivers' Championship, Pedro Diniz wins by a much smaller margin than I actually anticipated at the start of this episode. 99 points to Alexander Wirtz's 70. Giancarlo Fisichella only managing third at the end. And of course, Constructors' Championship goes to Arrows again. Massive lead there. Mostly down to Diniz. Just freaking phenomenal. We've been on a really good run the last 2 years, and let's hope it continues. There we go. Confirmation were it necessary. Our budget has dropped massively because we've spent a lot of cash, but we should now return to massive profitability, not only with prize money from the FIA, but also because we're no longer paying out to build a sick-ass wind tunnel full of dope MCs. Pedro Diniz wins his second Drivers' Championship, and deservedly so, if I do say so myself. Dear friends, thank you so very much for joining me. I hope all of you have a pleasant start to the week. No serious problems, no spankings, no untoward issues. Have a beer for me if you can have one, and I will talk to you on Wednesday. Bye bye.